Coming up, let's discuss the second commandment according to the oldest, that is the Jewish enumeration of the 10 commandments. In the Christian tradition, it's the first commandment. Stay tuned. Bible 360 starts right now. Welcome to another episode of the Bible 360 podcast. I am still your host, Keyston France, and we're moving pretty smoothly through our journey of the 10 commandments, so let's keep it going. This is the second commandment. Again, this is in the Jewish tradition. In the Christian tradition, it is the first commandment, and it states, "You shall have no other gods before me." The commandment then goes on to prohibit both making and worshiping of idols. Most people, when they think of this commandment, they think that it only prohibits the worship of idols and the worship of gods, such as the ancient pagan gods of rain or fertility, or Roman Jupiter and the Greek god Zeus. However, there is a major problem with the understanding of the commandment, since no one today worships these gods, let alone worship idols made of stone. Most people think that this commandment is irrelevant to modern life. The irony is, however, this commandment is not only relevant to modern life, it is in many ways the mother of all of the other commandments. So, Keyston, why is it so relevant today? Well, I'm glad you asked. Today, we have as many false gods as the ancients did. And why is it the mother of all the other commandments? Well, because if we identify false gods and avoid worshiping them, we eliminate one of the greatest barriers to a good world: false gods. So let's begin by defining a false god. The point of biblical monotheism is that there's only one God. And this God, who is the creator of the universe, demands that we keep these 10 commandments and worship them. And you may be asking why. Well, first, because one God means one human race. Only if we all have the same creator or father, as it were, are we all brothers and sisters. Second, having the same parent also means that no person or group is intrinsically more valuable than the other. And third, one God means one moral standard for all people. If God declares murder wrong, it is wrong for everyone. And you can't go to another God for another moral standard. When anything else is worshipped, bad things result. Not only things that can obviously lead to evil, such as the worship of people, or race, or money, or a flag, but also things that are almost always seen as quite beautiful, such as art, or education, or even love. Yes, any of these often wonderful things, then worship can lead to terrible results. Take art. Many of the cruelest humans in history loved beautiful music and art. But as a musician, I learned early in life the sad fact that great music can be used to inspire people to follow evil, just as much as it can be used to inspire people to do good. The great Hollywood director Stanley Kubrick vividly made this point in his classic 1971 film A Clockwork Orange, stating, "In it, men rape and murder, while classical music plays in the background." Think education. We all recognize how important education can be, from preparing people to be able to find work to understanding the world. But education in and of itself divorced from the higher ends of God and goodness that often has led to great evil. Many of the best educated people in Germany supported Hitler and the Nazis, and almost all of the Western world supporters of the genocidal regimes of Stalin and the Soviet Union and Mao in China were highly educated. There's nothing about a PhD that guarantees a person will be wiser, kinder, and more ethical than someone with only a high school education. The same holds true even of love. Love, of course, is often beautiful, but it can lead to evil. In the 20th century, people who put love of country above love of God and goodness often committed terrible evil. So here's a test for you. Imagine that the pet you love and a stranger, a person you don't know and therefore could not possibly love, are drowning. Do you first save your pet or the stranger? Well, if love is an end in itself, you save your pet. But if you hold human life as a higher value than love, you won't follow love. This commandment made the ethical revolution of the Bible and of the 10 Commandments, what is known as ethical monotheism, possible. Worship the God of the Ten Commandments, and you will make a good world. Worship a false God, no matter how noble sounding, and you will end up with a world of cruelty. Think about it. Hey, I want to say thanks again for tuning into the show. If you enjoyed it, please show me some love and go on over to YouTube and subscribe to my page, Bible 360 Outreach, and hit that bell right next to it so you know when I'm posting. You can also find the show listed in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and pretty much any other podcast directories. Until next time, I wish you a very pleasant adieu.